Hi everyone, welcome back to Brave. We're about to hear from Pastor Tim about what it means to be brave enough to serve.
When we come to the subject of service, we cannot have a conversation about that without considering the words of Jesus really at the top. I mean, if we start having a conversation about serving the needs of others or putting others first, pretty quickly we're going to come to some of the things that Jesus said. Like in Matthew 10, verse 43, he says, "Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be a slave to all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The disciples had gotten into a little bit of drama. They had had like an argument because two of the disciples, James and John, they had gone to Jesus and they had said, "Hey, when you establish your kingdom, can I sit on one side and the other one sit on the other side?" Like they wanted these special positions in Jesus's kingdom. Now, set aside for a second that at this point, I don't really think they understand what the kingdom of God is going to look like, the kind of kingdom that Jesus is going to establish. And Jesus even tells them, "Hey, you don't really know what you're asking." But apart from that, like news gets out and the other 10 get really upset and they kind of like deteriorate into this argument about, I'm going to be greater than you, and who says you get to be greater, and who says you get to sit next to Jesus. And so Jesus basically calms that argument with these verses. He walks in and he says, "Look, guys, you're missing the point. If you want to be great, you need to be the slave to everybody. If you want to be successful, you need to be the servant of everybody," which I'm sure totally changed the dynamic for the disciples and their understanding of success. And if we're honest, it probably changes the dynamic of success for us. It probably changes our opinion of success. But we get there pretty quickly as Christians. I mean, I don't know. It's not a far stretch for me to say that if I was in the room with you today and I said, "Okay, talk to me about what it means to be a follower of Christ," you're going to come up with, well, taking care of the needs of others, serving others, giving generously, being compassionate towards others. We know that to have success as a Christian, that serving others is at the heart of it. The question is, why don't we do that then? Why is it so difficult for us to serve others? Why do we forget so easily that we're to put the needs of others ahead of ourselves? And I think it comes down to a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people. But the one that seems to be common is true in me. I think it's probably true in you. And that's that there's this difference between what is success and what feels successful. Like, I'm going to be honest. I have this constant battle within me between doing the things that I know will truly make me successful as a Christian man, and then pursuing the things that maybe feel successful or make me feel like I'm having success. Like I feel successful when someone compliments me about something that I did, especially if it's something that I fixed or something that I built with my hands. I feel like I'm a success. Or I feel like a success when the connect groups are full of people like you. When the crowds are good, I feel successful. But those aren't success. That's not the point. In fact, in Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, Solomon in Ecclesiastes 1 through 3, he says it this way. He says, "The words of the preacher, the son of David, king of Jerusalem, vanity of vanities, says the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does a man gain by all his toil at which he toils under the sun?" Solomon kind of understands at this point in his life that there's a difference between success and the things that make us feel like a success. And he says all these things that make us feel like a success, like more money or a higher education or a better position, like he says they're vanity of vanities, or maybe your translation says that they're nothing. The word is havel. And havel is like the word that's used for a cloud. If you've ever been in an airplane and you've been close to a cloud, it looks like a thing, but then the plane goes right through it. Like it looks like a thing, but it's not a thing. He says all of the stuff that makes us feel successful, that isn't about serving others, is not true success, but yet we get so distracted by it. And then he goes on Solomon goes on in Ecclesiastes to just list all of these things that make us feel successful. He says education, entertainment, achievement, stuff, wealth, respect, admiration. He says all of it's havel. He says it doesn't mean anything. It's just a chasing after the wind because it's not real success. I think for me, the challenge with putting the needs of others first, the challenge of serving others isn't about not knowing that. I know I'm supposed to serve others. I know that I'm supposed to put the needs of others ahead of my own. I think the challenge is in being brave enough to break away from the cultural norms of what is said to be successful and truly pursue success. So today, as you go into your groups and you start having conversations about being brave enough to serve, this isn't just about knowing that the Bible wants us to serve others and knowing that biblical success is defined by serving others, but it has a lot to do with moving the things out of the way that make us feel successful, that we would be brave enough not to get distracted by the feeling of success, and that we would pursue wholeheartedly true success.